Hi and welcome back to Tom Mods Things. On this episode we sand a bumper, move some foam and make some lovely artwork. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Tom Mods Things. Just going to jump in there straight away. Yes, I've had a haircut, so yes, I am now edge shaven. So yeah, now that's over and done with, let's crack on what we're going to be doing. Alright, so those of you that are following the channel, this is our Saxo build. Yes, we love Max Power. Yes, we've got a few of them. This is the next major project on the channel. I obviously did 106 for last year. This one, the plan is, and things are kind of getting in my way a lot at the moment, but to have this at least running, ready to drive, maybe not completely finished from an exterior point of view, because there's a lot to do on that, but at least to the point where it runs and drives and we can drive this to Max Power Union show, whereas last year we had to get it trailered because, yeah, stuff, as you can see. Obviously we've done a few bits in previous videos. You saw rear lights, we'd sorted out taking the front bumper off because we are repairing that at the moment because that was all cracked. All these bits and stuff are in the boot. Replaced the wing mirrors because they were all smashed up. So yeah, I mean, it looks nice. We gave it a clean. Obviously that's been a fair few years of mould and stuff that have been growing on this. While it's been sat here, it's picked up some leaves, which we're gonna have to sort out really quickly. But yeah, so what we're gonna be doing today, we've gone and finally got a new battery for it. So finally went out, finally got a battery. You'll see on previous episodes we actually started it up and got it running, but we didn't have enough time to see whether it moves. Now what we're going to do on this episode is we're actually going to try and see if we can get the old girl moving. Now the steering arm on that side is currently disconnected. Previous guy was going to start to strip bits off of this and gave up because of how custom everything was, because he was going to move it onto another Saxo. I'm glad that he didn't, to be honest, because it means that we're able to bring this back alive again, like properly back alive, as in a proper old sort of car from back in the day, rather than just shifting it onto another shell. That is until probably we get it up and see that it's completely rotten underneath and we're completely screwed. But anyway, for the moment, positive thinking. So yeah, so the steering arm on this side isn't connected, so we can't actually steer the car. But what we are going to do, if this decides to zoom in with the amazing camera work going on at the moment, apologies for that. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we're just going to try and move this forwards and backwards a little bit just to see whether or not we can actually get it into gear. I'm told the gearbox was foobarred, which is why it was put off the road many years ago. So I'm not holding out a huge amount of hope, but if we can bash it into gear, then we can start to work out what gears aren't and maybe are and aren't working, if that makes sense. Like, we could get into reverse, but we could get no forward gears. Equally, we could also do forward gears and no reverse, and so then we can start to work out what we do. I think realistically, I'm pretty sure it's quite easy to replace a gearbox on these. From some forums that I've read, that's famous car enthusiast last words, where it ends up saying 3 hours and it takes you 3 days, but we will see anyway, because it might be just easier just to get a reconditioned box, drop the one out of this, plug in a new one, and then away we go. So yeah, so first up, we're going to crack on, get the bonnet open, and we're going to chuck in a new battery. Right, new battery connected up, nice and cheapy from Euro Car Parts, but that's all we need for this. I always like taking the stickers off of these anyway, because then they're just all nice and black, and then it just sort of blends into the engine bay, not some bright yellow monstrosity sat in there. And yes, they're probably better, but hey ho. We got to do these things on a budget. So yeah, so this seems to have picked up a fair bit of leaves since I last left it, because we did kind of clean this up a little bit, but yeah, it definitely needs a lot more work under the bonnet, especially with the intake that's missing at the moment, but it looks way better than what it was when I picked it up. So we'll get rid of all these leaves in a sec, just in case sort of they get clogged up or catch fire on a hot manifold or whatever. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go and jump in the seat. We're going to go and start it up, see if it starts up first time again, and then see if we can move this forwards and backwards. Right, and here we are with the lovely crack in the windscreen. Those of you that see my Instagram, that is my first ever car sitting over there at the moment. I actually used that a couple of days ago while I was waiting for the new daddy wagon to turn up. So that was hilarious. I've not driven that in what, 13, 14 years. So yeah, it was hilarious being back in that, especially with all the old Rip Speed gear that I went and saved up for and bought back in the day. But we move on to, I would say, bigger and better things. At the moment it doesn't feel like it feels like a bit of a mouldy mess, but anyway, so batteries in, lights are all on, radios in, which we know works from last time. So we'll see if we can get this going. So 3, 2, 1. There we go. Old girl started in the end. Sounds like a rickety mess in here. Right, so first up, what we're going to do, we're going to clutch in. Yeah, okay, well that clunked into something. We're going to go, okay, first is not happening. Okay, so first can't do. Second seems to be in gear. Right, handbrake off, here we go. Oh, okay, well, I mean, it's definitely moving. Okay, we're not going to do too much because this old girl's not been driven in plenty of time. Let's see if we can get reverse. Right, whack it in. Here we go. Oh, okay. So we got second gear. We've got reverse. Right, we got third gear. Yeah. Okay, we got third gear. Fourth gear. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, that's reverse. That's not. All right, fourth gear. Yeah. Okay, it wants to move. Okay, so. Fifth, finally. Yeah, same again. Okay, so looks like, let's just get this back a little bit again. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right. Okay, let's turn that off. There. Right, so it looks like we've got every single gear apart from first. There was no chance of getting, well, I mean, I could probably slam it in if really wanted to, but it looks like it's dropped first gear effectively. So I don't know what that means because I need to look into it from the point of view of whether or not that's an easy fix or not. I will probably have to post up on a few of these forums just to see if anyone can offer or lend a hand in diagnosing exactly what it is that we need to do to get this running again. Because we kind of need first gear really. If we want to do some skids in the car park, then we're going to need first gear to really pick up the really get the wheels going. So that needs to happen. We can't just have second gear. So what we are going to need to do is I'm going to start jacking the front up because we need to get that steering, because as soon as the steering is connected and the brake caliper thing's back on, then based off of this just now, we should actually be able to drive it around this yard, which will be good because it means that we can test some stuff, and it also means that we're heading in the right direction for getting it properly running. And then what I can do at the same time while I've got the front up is I can drop the oil because I've got no idea when that was replaced. We'll also drop the gearbox oil based off of the information that I get from some people. So I mean, if you guys are into your Saxos and 106s, then and you know what's going on. So we've not got first gear. This is a GTI engine. I've got no idea what box it is on there at the moment, so that's something that we need to look into. So but it seems to have dropped first gear. Can't get it in first gear. So what that means is, yeah, we just need to work out what's going on. So it might be that we could drop the oil, maybe it's just loosening up something, which would be great, but probably not, and it means that we need to drop the box. If it's reconditioned, that'd be okay if we can find one. But yeah, if you guys are into 160 Saxos, you know exactly what's going on with that, then do chuck it in the comments below, because I will read it and then I will get in touch with you and want to know everything that you know about how to sort that problem out, because yeah, we need to get it done, we need to get it going, we need to get it moving. Well, it is moving, but we need to get it properly moving, and then we can just start racing it around a little bit here in on some private land, and then give it a bit of a shakedown. So yeah, but yeah, really positive. That's all good. Now, a slightly annoying thing off camera is I was just fiddling around in the boot and let go of it, and it closed itself, and there's no lock on it, and I'm not entirely sure how to open it. Now, there's some buttons on the dash, which are these ones here, but yeah, absolutely no idea which does which, if that's going to zoom in. So I've been turning it on and pressing a few. Nothing seems to be working at the moment, so I can't actually get the boot open, which is slightly annoying because I wanted to try and get the rear bumper off before I start jacking it up, because then I can take that away with me today and get going on repairing it. But yeah, we're going to need to try and work out what the hell's going on, because yeah, we can't have it that the boot doesn't open. I think what I'm going to do anyway is do what I did with the 106, where I had that little button that sat where the rear window wiper thing was, because no one wants a rear wiper. Everyone deletes them. It looks way better all clean. So we're going to need to get rid of that anyway, and so putting a button there's just a good thing, because it gives you like a bit of outside access, which I always think is handy. So yeah, I'm going to poke around in here a little bit and just see if I can find something that's going to allow me to open the boot. If not, yeah, I'm gonna have to start crawling back through there and pulling panels off until I can get to the little lock mechanism and the solenoid that's potentially seized up. So yeah, joyous. Old cars, old Max Power cars, old custom cars, all the joys. And apologies if the next bit of this video is you on a tripod watching my fat arse having to crawl through the back of this car to try and get access to that thing in there.
A few moments later.
Okay, I've realised why one of the buttons weren't working. Yeah, it's not actually connected into anything. So I've got no idea where the cables are for that, but I'm going to have a poke around now and see if I can find out what the bloody hell's going on. So yeah, we're going to yeah, see what we can do. Right, a bit of investigation. I can't say that I found this because I've been rooting around for ages. Behind the dash, under the dash, been in the glove box, I've been looking around the steering column, literally everywhere to try and find this bloody button, because pulling that out, I couldn't find any wires behind it. I believe the other one is for the underglow, so definitely not going to be that one. So yeah, couldn't find a bloody button for it. So anyway, so I quickly sent a message over to Chris, who had this last, just to say, do you have any idea if I'm doing anything correctly or if I'm being really stupid and I can't find a button for the boot? And he said, yeah, I think you might just want to look down to your right hand side. I was like, what? Down my right hand side? What, behind the seat? And he was like, yeah, behind the seat, just look on the panel. And so here we go down the side of the seat, and then in this little gap down here you can just about make out, oh, that looks like a little button. Right, okay, so what happens if I press this? Oh, that sounds like a little solenoid going off. So I think if we come round here, so there's me buggering around inside the car trying to find buttons everywhere. There we go. Right, boot opens back up, unveiling all of the random bits in here. So yeah, we're back to at least it working again. So that's great, awesome, top work. Found the button, happy days, no dramas. Right, so got the rear bumper off, just been having a poke around underneath. You can see I'm not sure the neon underglow is going to underglow anymore, which is a shame. And we've just seen that one of the rubber mounts for this is a bit loose, which will be what is clanging around at the moment when it gets started up. Having a look underneath, you can see some surface rust on the back. Doesn't look absolutely terrible, but underneath, right, I need to get a torch, 2 secs. Alright, but underneath, with a bit of light, okay, well that's looking, I mean, not great, looking pretty crusty. It looks like we've got a bit of work to do. Some of this around here, I think, shine the light over here, looks a little bit worse than I think it actually is, to be honest. But yeah, oh, that looks like there's a bolt that's loose on the suspension back there as well, which shining the light up in there isn't brilliant. So yeah, we're going to need to do that back up. Yeah, there's also tons of leaves under here. We're gonna have to move this and get it all sorted. Yeah, not terrible, but not great. So we knew we'd have some work to do, but still, it's not flaky. It's like the paint's flaking off, but not actually sort of the metal underneath. So I think we can probably do a bit of work to get this back up and running without having to do too much crazy repair work underneath. Now the only thing that we have got, which is, turn that off, is that door on that side is really locked shut, because basically this whole side on this left hand side of the car was the bit that was parked in the bush. So obviously with the bush being organic matter, which is slightly annoying with how low this is, with how many leaves have got trapped underneath. But yeah, in essence, where this was all parked up against the bush, it was obviously getting moist, and that's what was causing the doors to seize shut. Which this is we're gonna need to try and unlock that. So anyway, so we need to try and get this door unlocked again, see if we can manually do it. But yeah, right, what can we do now? So I think what we'll do is we'll move this big block out of the way, and we'll pull this forwards or push it forwards until we can clear out all the leaves underneath. We might try and actually just bash the wheel with a hammer and just try and get it so that we can maybe park it a bit straighter in this sort of little gap in here, just to make it a little bit easier for us. And then what we'll do is we will go ahead and see if we can get a jack under this. I didn't actually anticipate potentially not getting my low profile jack underneath. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Might have to try and bump it up onto blocks, which is going to be interesting, but at least it moves forward, so we can chuck it in second gear and then just sort of, I don't know, absolutely fucking slam it and see if we can get it up on some blocks. So yeah, crack on with that now, move it forward, get rid of these leaves. Happy days.
Great success.
Right guys, so on from the Saxo bits and bobs, we are back working on the 106. As you can see, I am looking like a bit of a snowman at the moment, covered in dust, but we are definitely getting somewhere with this rear bumper. Let's flip you around and show you exactly what we're up to. So, as I mentioned on previous videos, it may well actually be a little bit earlier on in this video, depending on when this kind of all gets stitched together. But we had some flexible blocks, sanding blocks turn up. So these are some what they call flexi block. First time I've actually used these before. Seem to be going really well, to be honest. So they're like a high density foam rubber. There's sort of over the back there quite a few different shapes and sizes and stuff. We're going with the big boy at the moment. You know what it's like. So basically what we're doing is we've wrapped some 80 grit around it, and we are taking off the first layer on this rear bumper. So as you can see, compared to where we started, if we look at kind of smoothness of where we're up to at the moment, we are definitely getting somewhere, and we're getting consistent sort of curvatures and stuff at the moment coming all the way around, as you can see, with these two bits that are bonded together. So we are effectively working our way all the way around at the moment, filling in, as you can see, all this gap where it's becoming quite smooth, and contouring the lines of the Cayman bumper into the arch that we attached, so that it kind of all looks seamless when it's on the car. So we are basically sanding away at this at the moment, as you can see, with just this everywhere. Mask on situation for sure. So we're going to finish up sanding this with the 80, then we're going to go over it with 120 just to smooth it off, and then what we're probably going to do is take it off the car, get all the edges all nicely trimmed and stuff, and then apply mist coat over the top. Mist coat being a sort of a light coat of primer, which we'll then look to start sanding back. We'll do that as well as wetting the surface afterwards to try and generate sort of, or create, a nice smooth surface. As I've said before, I don't actually know what I'm doing, so I just make this up really as I go along, and little bits of information here and there. So it seems to be working for me. It's worked for me in the past, so we're going to carry on and keep doing it. There's probably other ways of doing it, but for the moment, for you guys that may be just sort of knocking around in the garage wanting to try this sort of stuff out, that just kind of gives an idea of what I'm up to. So I'm going to crack on, and I'll catch you guys in a sec. Right, so if we look at what this looks like at the moment, I think you can agree this is coming along. We haven't clipped the boot down, so there's a little gap underneath, but I think we're pretty damn consistent with that shut line, to be honest, which is pretty sick. So when it actually does click down, it's going to be spot on. So yeah, as you can see, nice sort of smooth surface running all the way along. Got a little bit now to just do here with some of the trimming on the edges to get the sort of gaps, which were previously not great on between the rear bumper and the fenders, or the rear quarters, and we're going to improve that and make that better. So drawn a quick sketch of where I'd like to make a trim all the way along. and then we can sand back these areas to get these all nice and smooth as well. Got a small area down here to just rework ever so slightly, but I'm going to do this without a block by hand, just so I can get my fingers and stuff into the contours of this sort of raised section that runs all the way around, so I can then blend it back into the fender like I did on the other side that you saw just a second ago. But yeah, I think you'll agree it's looking pretty good. Just did a quick hoover up on the floor because that was looking pretty terrible, but yeah, pretty happy with how that's coming along, to be honest. Then separately to that, you'll see earlier in the video we took the rear bumper and got that back in the shop. So making the repairs on the Kingdom bumper, we also need to do some work on this one as well where it's cracked. Then we're going to smooth everything over, and then we're going to probably try to decide what we do colour wise with the car, because obviously all this needs repainting in most places where there's loads of cracks and stuff. Obviously the front bumper being the worst of it is going to need full respray. But wondering whether we keep it the blue colour or we change it up and pick a slightly different colour. Haven't fully decided yet. Part of me wants to kind of keep it as it was back in the day to a degree. So yes, we've changed the rear lights, and yes, we've changed the wing mirrors, but minor sort of tweaks to make it slightly different to what it was. But I think really colour is quite a major aspect of those cars back in the day. So I'm kind of feeling nostalgic that maybe we need to keep the colour as it was, and yeah, we'll see. Maybe what we'll do is we'll respray it so that it's the blue that it always was back in the day, but then maybe we just get it wrapped so that we can change it up and have it as a completely newish sort of build, because I've got some ideas for colours that I think would really make this whole kit and car pop massively, and we can tie it in with all the interior that we're going to need to do anyway, because that was never done on the original car. So that's something that we definitely need to bring up. We definitely need bucket seats, we definitely need a new steering wheel, we want to retrim where all the material sagging on the door cards, so that is definitely going to happen. So yeah, tying that in with a new colour could be quite good. So anyway, what are we going to do now? Right, so we're going to probably get the rear bumper off the 106 now. We're going to just basically get it so it's all ready to go. I probably need to clear some space in this garage because we're pretty full up at the moment. I feel like we need to maneuver some stuff around so that we can get some space in here to finish up some of these body panels. So what I might end up doing actually is moving the 106 out this weekend. So we'll kind of get everything shifted around for the moment. We'll move the 106 onto the drive this weekend, and then we'll crack on getting all these body panels finished. So yeah, so for the moment we're just going to whip the 106 bumper off, maybe apply a quick mist coat, or at least get the edges all nice and trimmed, and then crack on, and we are ready to go. Right guys, and just like that, we're at the end of another weekend. Let's crack on and show you guys what we've been up to. Right, so as you saw a second ago, we took the rear bumper off. Now I've been doing a bit of work on this, repaired this section down here, so that's all nice and strong. Just need some filler over the top of this now, but we thought we'd go through and effectively start to rework some of the other areas that are going to need filler as well, because you may as well do it all at once. Then you'll also notice number plate plinth. Now this is currently drying at the moment, but this is now glued black in. This has kind of effectively been bonded on the back with what looked like tiger seal, and then it's sort of come off over time, so not great, but we've sorted that. And then basically we've now bonded this properly together with effectively Gorilla Glue, so I don't think this is coming back off again. And then yeah, there's a few bits of repair work that we've done around here where we just started to sand off where the cracks were happening between what is effectively this completely separate lower splitter, which is fixed in with screws. So there's a screw here, there's a couple of bolts around here, and a few bolts around here as well, and then it's kind of smoothed between, but then over the course of its life it's cracked kind of along the seam line, which is along there. So we need to add a bit more strength on the back, and then smooth it over as soon as we do the body filler on this bit. Then we come over here, so this is the Kingdom bumper that we've been working on and doing loads of repairs. Now it's not finished obviously, but we've just made a proper start and started to see where our high and low spots are all over it. So we're building up this area here because obviously this was all missing That area over there is the bit that we're still working on, which we've just been sanding back, but that was fully detached, so this was sort of flapping around. We've kind of managed to line this up properly now, so this is all nice and straight. So any of you that saw the pictures of this when it was at the reunion show will have seen that this was kind of dragging along the floor a little bit, which isn't great. But yeah, so this is coming along. So this is actually sat just currently on top of the Peugeot at the moment, so it's on foam, so yeah, don't have a go at me. And then back here we're looking at the 106. This has been off and then come back on again, but it's looking a hell of a lot better. So we're fully smooth now, really, all the way around. Still got a little bit of work to do on these edges, but looking way better. We're almost at the point where this is complete, but just need a little bit more time just to get this sorted out. So yeah, so we will be cracking on and getting that finished towards the end of the week. Then, as you saw, we got the Saxo moving forwards. We got it steering as well, so we got the steering arms all connected back up, so that now drives. Doesn't quite stop, it's only got a handbrake, which is the bit that we need to do next, but it turns and everything, so we are moving forwards with it. Yeah, so basically we're just going to get these body panels finished up. We're going to get the rear bumper finished on the 106, which means that this car can then head over there basically to be stored there while the Saxo comes into the workshop, which is great. The Porsche is pretty much there now, so we basically just need to find the time to book it in for an MOT, and then that's back on the road. We've got a new wheel for turning up for that, so that will be back up and running pretty shortly. A few tiny minor repairs to do on the front bumper with the split fiberglass. Effectively what my life has become at the moment, which is effectively repairing fiberglass and sanding, it seems. So I think edge sanding was a good name that I got called on Instagram recently. So yeah, so that's really going to be it for now, because I've run out of time as per usual. So cheers everyone for watching. Stay tuned for more content. It is coming, and I'm finding a little bit more time here and there to be able to get stuff over to you. So stay tuned for that. T-shirts all still for sale, so if you want those to support the channel, crack on. They're in the description down below, or any of the other car parts that I do as well on the website. But yeah, cheers everyone for watching. Catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe and see you later.